Morning Tucson.
We have breaking news into our newsroom for you this morning. 2 bodies have been found in the small town of Maricopa this morning. Deputies believe they are the bodies of a missing couple, Michael Correcchia and his wife Tina. They've been missing for 11 days.
Well, now one man is behind bars. He is Jose Valenzuela, the same man the Pinal County Sheriff served a search warrant on yesterday. He lives in the same neighborhood where that couple lives. Investigators continue to dig in his backyard throughout the day yesterday, but stopped late last night. More information will be released in today's sheriff's press conference, and that will be at noon today. And good morning. Thanks for joining us this morning. It's
Thursday, July 2nd. The GMT team is right here for you. We have Big Al, April, and Megan. First up, April Madison with our first warning weather. Where'd those storms go?
Well, they're all making their way north of here. Let's take a look at the satellite radar, and you can see where they're heading. So it's a little bit muggy out there, but majority of the storms are all now making their way into northern Arizona and dissipating as they do so. We still have a little bit of moisture to work with, but it's looking more and more like today, and possibly again tomorrow might be a bit of a down day. We're not completely eliminating our storm chances, but it goes down to about a 10 to 20% chance in the afternoon under partly cloudy skies as we warm to about 98 for the official high. Then tonight we'll dip down to 76, holding on to that 20% chance for storms just through the evening hours. So I'm sure everyone's wondering, what are we going to expect to see for our 4th of July forecast? I will have that coming up. Big Al, how's it looking on the roads right now?
April, it's a minute after 5 and we're okay out here so far. There is something bubbling right below the surface, and I mean that in the literal sense. And I'll tell you what that is here at the end of this report. It's not good. I'll say that right now. Not hot lava, April. Last day of paving on Broadway. Start now till 5 o'clock this afternoon. Pantano to Camino Seco on Broadway Boulevard. Just because they're done paving doesn't mean they're done with the project. They'll come back and do the temporary paint striping. And then in about 30 days after that, they'll do the plastic striping. 12th Avenue, some slowing there southbound as you approach and pass Ajo all the way down to Irvington now. This is our issue. An emergency sewer repair that was done last night for now. They found some big issues underneath the roadway that they weren't expecting to see. And so you'll see variable message signs at Irvington and I-19 and probably near Ajo and I-19 saying that on July 6th, this intersection will be closed, and it'll be closed for several days as wastewater has another emergency repair, multiple day repair to make in that area. It'll be completely closed at Mission and Irvington starting the 6th of July. We'll need to find alternate routes. That's the latest from the Beat the Traffic Center.
All right, Big Al, thank you. We have some more breaking news for you this morning into the newsroom out of D.C. I believe we have a live shot to show you. From what we're being told, very preliminary reports right now, an active shooter apparently at this Navy Yard. We are not sure what has happened, whether or not anyone has been shot. You can see right there, the police are in the air using helicopters trying to figure out what's going on here. Again, preliminary reports right now from our sister station, ABC 15. They're reporting that the local ABC station in Washington, D.C. is saying that an active shooter is at this Navy Yard in D.C. We are going to stay on top of this for you. We're going to monitor this live shot, and we'll bring you the latest developments as soon as they come in. Greg.
Also in the news this morning, police in Tucson taking a closer look into a suspicious death in Midtown.
They say it started early yesterday when a body was found near Grant and Alvernon. Police are not giving out any other information. They only say their investigation is ongoing. Also in Midtown, Tucson police are investigating a possible child abuse case. Police say the investigation started Tuesday near Grant and Alvernon. A 1-year-old girl was taken to the hospital with severe head trauma. So far, no arrests have been made.
And an overnight hit and run in Tucson has turned deadly. This is the scene from last night, 22nd Street, 4th Avenue. Police say a pedestrian was hit and the driver left the scene, drove away. If you have information that can help, call 911.
Now to our continuing coverage of a Tucson police investigation. They've been looking into a string of massage parlors right here in town that police say offered sex for sale. Now reports have been released showing a long list of customers who could face hundreds of charges involving 4 different businesses around Tucson. Police Chief Roberto Villasenor tells us they've been looking into a parlor's log of phone numbers, but
a lot of these phone numbers have no involvement at all with the investigation, other than the fact that they were in the contact list of people who we were investigating.
2 Tucson police officers resigned after the investigation began. 7 officers are on involuntary leave while TPD investigates whether they were customers at those massage parlors. Well, now it's up to prosecutors to decide what to do with the investigation TPD has compiled. And a Tucson teen accused of second-degree murder, here he is, went before a Superior Court judge yesterday. 16-year-old Andres Jesus Moreno pled not guilty. He's charged with killing his pregnant girlfriend's father on the south side last month. Moreno will be back in court next month.
And now to a 9 on your side crime alert. Pima County Sheriff's deputies looking for some heavy smokers, apparently. They say these 2 men who stole $6,000 worth of liquor and cigarettes from 2 different Circle Ks, one of those on the Benson Highway, the other on Palo Verde. Now, both men walked in, started grabbing things, they say. You can see them there. Police say one man is in his late 30s, about 6 feet tall, had his face painted black. He was wearing a hoodie. The other, about 5'8", who covered his face with a brown bandana and was also wearing a hoodie to cover up his identity. If you can help out here, call 911 or 88 Crime, and you can remain anonymous with that last phone line, too.
Well, after a crazy week of monsoon, this is the perfect time to remind everyone it's best to stay inside when Mother Nature takes over.
Oh, yeah. 2 children learned the dangers of being outside in a storm. The newspaper El Diario de Sonora reports the children were on their family's ranch when lightning struck. That was near Nogales, Mexico. Firefighters resuscitated the 8-year-old girl and took her to the hospital. Her 9-year-old brother has less severe injuries. They are both doing okay this morning.
Well, monsoon can also bring major property damages, too.
And this week we've had, several unexpected hailstorms breaking up property, costing thousands of dollars in repairs. 9 on your side's Megan Thompson is live on the east side with more on how the hail hit drivers there. Megan.
Oh, absolutely, Greg. The hail hits hard, but it hits even harder on your wallet. Take a look. We actually found a car with some extensive hail damage right near KG9 parking lot. Now, even though these dents are small, the damage they carry is pretty hard. This local repair shop flooded with requests.
Probably fielded about 300 phone calls.
And most of them calling dent busters right after this week's big storm. The hail hitting drivers across the Tucson area, leaving damage behind when the storm cleared.
I think the least expensive we've seen so far was about $2,000, and they go on up from there.
Connie Gardner says she's lived in Tucson for more than 4 decades and has never seen hail like this.
Around through tons and tons of monsoons, but nothing with hail of this size and nothing I've actually been stuck out in a car.
She couldn't find shelter while out driving, and her brand new car took a beating.
I had no idea until I got home and got out and realized it really was all dented up.
Now she's waiting to hear back from the insurance company on how much the storm will cost her.
There's not much you can do. I mean, keep an eye out for the weather for sure, but hail comes like in a blink of an eye.
I can't believe it's hailing!
Yeah, and Dent Busters says the best thing to do is file a claim with your insurance company, and they can figure out what's covered by those repairs when you actually make an appointment. Now, when it comes to actually preventing hail damage, it's pretty hard. I mean, we don't know the size of hail that's coming down, and sometimes it just sweeps through like it did earlier this week. But we want to send it into April Madison to see what we can expect this next week. Any big storms coming our way, April?
Well, you know, once we're officially into monsoon, we never really completely rule it out, Megan. So, yeah, there's definitely the expectation for more storms over the next week. Now, I do think we could see a little less action both today and tomorrow, and here's why. Our high pressure actually right now, it's in a very favorable position. It's pretty much centered over the Great Basin, and as long as we have moisture to the south, we will continue to pull in that southerly flow. However, over the next couple of days, it's actually going to start shifting a little bit further south and east, and that's going to bring us more of a easterly flow, not so much southerly. And when that happens, it starts cutting off our moisture source just a bit, and you can see the bulk of the moisture that we saw yesterday is now making its way north of the area. So today and tomorrow, I'd say, is going to be a little less significant, at least in the valleys, specifically Pima County, even though it's going to feel very muggy to start the day, as you can see there. We've got mostly clear skies, 74 at the airport right now, but we will hit right around 98. We'll see about a 20% chance for storms late in the day, and then we'll hold on to that 20% chance again on Friday as we warm to the upper 90s to right around 100 through Saturday. But it's the weekend again that we see that southerly flow return and we get more of an uptick in our storm action both Saturday and again on Sunday before we see a little bit of a break happening once again towards the beginning and middle of next week. So if you haven't done it yet, kgun9.com, that's where you can go to get your Storm Shield weather app and all the latest severe weather alerts. Greg and Liz, back over to you.
April, thank you very much. We're going to update a story for you. They're breaking on the East Coast right now. A shooter active in Washington, D.C. The U.S. Navy and ABC News confirming that the active shooter is taking place. It's at the U.S. Navy Yard there. That was also the site of a shooting back in 2013. A man with a gun killing a dozen, maybe 13 people there. Right now, the scene very active. You can see police cars outside. No word on what is going on. We just know that from ABC News that and the Navy now that the base there is on lockdown while police investigate the scene. Again, an active shooter on the base is the report coming out of Washington, D.C. right now.
The direct tweet from the U.S. Navy says that this Navy Yard is on lockdown, shelter in place right now. They say no incident can be confirmed as of yet. They say more to follow, as you mentioned there. And as you can see, they are continuing to investigate this, and we will stay on top of it. Well, coming up on Good Morning Tucson, a historic moment, a historic agreement, the change in diplomatic ties with Cuba, and the work to get each country's embassies up and running begins. How they'll do it next.
Plus, the Department of Justice going after the airline, the Friendly Skies. Are you paying too much to fly this 4th of July holiday? The details on the Fed's investigation.